morning. This morning, my little Tucker friend, who's my terrible Lil Monster, he uh, he actually only fussed with me at the gate on our way out. He's very, very good and extremely, remarkably patient about me doing the buckle on his halter, which is now becoming too small, but the next halter up is too big around his muzzle. So I'm at a point where I don't know, I don't want to not have control of his nose, yet I don't have another, a bigger strap for this grow with me halter. He's done growing with it. So I have to kind of take a minute to, gently snug it up a little bit more and try to find that hole without, really pulling on him. So I take a moment to do that. And he just kind of stands there, with kind of a thoughtful look in his eye, like he's internally paying attention to what he's feeling. But absolutely no movement, kind, gentle, patient. Love how he is with that. He's not, stop it, get off me, what are you doing? He's not like that at all. Very, very, very patient. However, we've been having discussions from the gate to the barn, and then also stronger discussions from the barn to outside, because, well, he's been inside cooped up with his mommy all day, and he wants to go out and run around, so, he's got a lot of opinions about how he has to be obedient for a couple more minutes. When we came out of the gate, he had one little moment of, I might be in a mood. And I very kindly told him that we weren't going to do that today. So he got this look in his face, like he almost wanted to try out his theory. I wonder. So he actually, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt every single day. So every single day I give him the slack in the line, expecting him to be right at my side. I don't hang on to him. I don't create any kind of claustrophobic experience for him. And I give him the benefit of the doubt that I'm not going to have to chalk up on the line to talk to him. I'm not going to have to, pull him forward. I'm not going to have to do anything that causes an effect on his halter until it's warranted. At times, it's warranted the entire trip because he's having his moment where he believes that we're sitting at a discussion table and he's going to lay out his options. This morning, we had that quick, I don't think we want to do that today, and him going, I wonder if I just behave. So he walked in like a champ. He was awesome. He was Dewey worthy, And we were 3 feet from the gate to his stall. And he's like, because what he does when he wants to get sassy with me is he'll throw his nose up in the air and he'll kind of go like this to my shoulder. He's doing it to me. He knows he's making eye contact with me, but his nose reaches my shoulder height. So he kind of does this at me. And when he does that, I know that, to be aware. And I'm like, oh man, don't ruin it. You had such a great walk in. Don't ruin it. And he kind of snapped out of it, or was extremely responsive to me, gently saying, don't blow this. And we get in the stall, and he, I close the gate and I take the halter off, and he had kind of a moment of, all right, now get out of my way. And I'm like, oh, gosh. So I had to go do other stuff. I left him on a friendly note, but I left, even though knowing that he wasn't left to soak on me being upset, I left just kind of shaking my head I wish we could just have one solid moment where we're not having these conversations. mind you, he's not even 3 months old yet. So, like, so I decided after I got done with everything, I always like to make sure that I end my morning experience on like all the good notes. So I'll go in and I'll like love on all the horses, scratch all the horses, and have that glorious feeling of having provided them with like pleasure. I scratch them where they itch, like Dewey. I spent a lot of extra time with Dewey because I was very involved with him when he was little, with all the body scratches and the hanging on him and the hugs and stuff. So I do a lot of that with him. And he kind of looks forward to that. Like, he expects me to not have a 2-second stay. He expects me to stay for a minute or two. So it was my time to go over to Tucker to say goodbye to Tucker. And on my approach, I'm like, okay, we want to just have a really just a sweet moment. Like, I'm determined to make this horse sweet. He's not sweet. He's feisty. He's sassy. He's snotty. He's not sweet. So I'm like determined. I'm gonna go make this horse sweet today. So I go over and I give him his full body hug. And I will say we've gotten past the biting me then. So I go over and I'm trying to get like this full body hug out of him, and I'm loving on him, and he I guess we took a different truck today. And he stays where he's supposed to stay. I give him all the love. He provides me with the parts of his body that are itchy. And then only once did he kind of go, yeah, you didn't get that one. Like, I went to move on from a certain spot, and I apparently hadn't satisfied that itch yet, so he was making sure I understood that I was not done. But other than that, there was something about, I think I even, like, kissed on him, which is risky. It's risky with him yet. And I'm like, come on, let's just have a nice experience so I can leave. And we did. But it's funny that it's you walk in there with your fingers crossed, like, okay, let's see if we can have a successful, don't try to bite me. He doesn't try to jump on me in the stall, but he does kind of chest me. And I remember working with a horse some years ago that he like plowed me into a wall with his chest. Like, he was dangerous when he first got to my barn. He was there for training because he had gotten kind of out of control at the barn that he was in. People were afraid of him. They had to use a whip to be around him. He was like locked in this like dungeon space. And he was, the first day I tried to feed him, the girl who worked for me, she's like, I thought I was calling 911. She's like, I can't believe how intense that was. So you got to fix all these things, because this guy was 16.2 already, or 16.3 already, as a 2-year-old, and like pinned me against like every wall as I was trying to escape. So I know I can't have this stuff get out of hand. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens. That's what that looks like if you leave it alone. And just to go in his stall and be like, I am so determined to help him through these stages to where they're going to be such a distant memory. But whew. I have worked with another horse that was like this from birth too, that was just like, yeah, and that horse was also like a little 4-year-old too. Like, I equate this little guy with being like the one that's in the living room climbing on the back of the couch and trying to launch himself onto the armchair. He's definitely that rough and tough, tumbler kid kind of horse. I worked with another one but he was also like looking to kill himself. He was accident prone. He was like crashing into things, and he was willing to like launch his own body at things to make his point. So I definitely would say not only does Tucker look like that horse, Tucker acts like that horse did. That horse, he came out of the womb kicking, and Tucker didn't necessarily come out of the womb kicking, but he definitely is exploring what his options are. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. I have things to do.